right, thank you for tuning in. 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, when we were younger, Robin, we never realized that we were networking. We didn't call it networking, right?
No.
We went to meetings, we went to conventions, and we were hanging out with people, and good things happened. We were able to get some work and publish some books, and who knew it was called networking? Now we know what it's called. and everybody realizes the power of networking. Sonda Eunus is in the studio. She's the founder and CEO of Leading Management Solutions, which is a management and marketing consulting firm for medical practices and other healthcare businesses. She enjoys working with healthcare business owners and helping them achieve faster business growth and increased revenue. We all like that. She has a master's in healthcare management and is a certified medical practice executive. And she enjoys writing. We'll ask her about that a little bit. And
I love that part.
Her articles have been published in leading industry publications such as the Orlando Medical News, the Florida Medical Business News, and the PACOM Journal, PAHCOM. PACOM, thank you. And one of the things we are talking about is a healthcare networking mixture that you're on the air to talk about. So good morning. Nice to meet you, Sonda.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell me about your writing. What do you write?
So I just write different articles on medical practice management, but also just management, consulting, marketing. So different things that medical practice managers, physician owners, and different business owners should know in operating their practice.
It seems like we are in an area where there's a lot of opportunity for healthcare providers to need to network, simply because you got the people at the nursing homes, you got the everyday doctors, pediatricians, I pointed to Robin because she's a new grandma.
Congratulations.
Thank you. First one.
We are a pediatric practice, so bring your kids to us.
Is that right?
Yeah, my dad is Dr. Eunus. We have premier pediatrics here.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing all this with us. So tell me about the organization, first of all, LMS.
Sure. So LMS is my company. And again, we started as a management consultant for medical practices. I have since kind of veered a little more into marketing as well, and just kind of combining that with, just business growth, management consulting, and marketing, because what I've found is that most, not just medical practices, but most businesses in general just need more patients and need more clients. So, that's kind of been my main focus, and I do have a team of marketers that I'm building, so they help me with our clients. And
Is that right?
Yeah.
So am I right in guessing that it's probably like a lot of us, we know how to do what we do, but we don't know how to market what we do?
Exactly.
And the same thing happens in the health world?
I think it happens more in the health world.
Really?
Because these are people that are highly trained, have been educated for so many years, but they're educated in what they need to be doing, which is patient care. They don't really know the aspects of management or marketing, and they don't really even have the time to learn it. So that's where a company like mine comes in. But what I found actually is that they, may not always be very willing to accept the help unless we can show to them that, okay, this is how it's going to benefit you. But that's where the whole networking really idea started, is because for my type of company, advertising did not work. So I've done digital ads, I've done billboards, I have done advertising in newspapers, journals. I did not get any clients from that. Every single client that I got was from a referral, whether it was from an existing client that I got from a colleague referral, or from, a partner referral that I got just by building connections with other businesses that serve the same audience. So that's how I kind of found out, okay, well, personal connections is really how you get more clients, how you grow your business. And so the healthcare networking mixer kind of came from that. And so this mixer is just, a very fun social evening that we have, where we invite different medical professionals. So we invite, clinicians of all specialties, doctors, medical practice managers, psychiatrists, dentists, therapists. So basically anyone in the healthcare industry is welcome to attend. And then it's just a really fun social environment where, people who may not be very comfortable with selling their, products or services here, they're more comfortable because everyone is doing it. They know that the whole goal of coming to this event is to talk about their company and to
that makes a lot of sense.
Bring attention to it, And so we have that aspect of it where the attendees attendees network with each other, but then we also bring in vendor booths, vendor partners, and we have vendor booths, and so they exhibit and have, their own marketing materials, and then they kind of tell everyone about what their business does. So it's really a great marketing opportunity for them, and then it's also just valuable resources to the people that attend because they may not even know about these
Absolutely.
businesses.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of a win-win for everyone, and again, it's fun,
And it's nice to have something that's theme-based because you
Right.
know as you're going in there if this is something that's going to benefit you and
Right.
your company or not.
Yeah, and what I've found is that, in healthcare, you don't really have the time. Every person is so busy, physicians, any clinician, they get
Right,
stuck at the
right,
office. And,
right.
we had so many people that were registered for the event and didn't come just because they got stuck with patients, So, that's really how it is. So if that's what they're doing day in and day out, and that's what I see with my parents, both of them are physicians, they don't get home until late. And so they don't have time to go to dinners or to go to meetings to network with people or to even find out about the services or products that are available to them that are very beneficial to them. But here, where we kind of get everyone to come together in one place, it's just much, much faster. And it's kind of like speed networking, basically.
Oh, okay.
So if they're getting home late, it means they have a lot of business. So in their case, they wouldn't be going to the networking event for that purpose to get more business, but rather to find out what else is out there
Right.
that might benefit them. Is it always health related, or could it be like office management related?
It can be, and I actually have a list of vendors that...
Like the water guy? I mean, maybe they need water, like a water cooler or something?
Right. Well, here's the thing is that we have vendors that are healthcare related, but then we have other vendors like banks or accountants or real estate agents, life insurance companies. These aren't specifically health related vendors, but these are businesses that still
That makes sense to
provide
me, yeah.
services to maybe not the individual's business itself, but just the individual, so a doctor will also need a bank, or an accountant.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Or
you're
even
so
life
smart.
insurance.
Wow, this is an ideal idea. This is so good. I have a brother who's a veterinarian, and he was working for a veterinarian, and he wanted to go out on his own. So he had two choices: either to buy one, because there was one that a guy was selling,
Right.
which has an established clientele, or to start a new one with his own name. He opted to buy the one. The reason he opted to buy that one is because it was already an established clientele.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes to get new customers, and so that's what he was facing. And he now he's a professor out in Oregon, so he doesn't even do that anymore. But but the idea, I can see it because he's in the health field, and in his case, it was just with animals. And what I kind of hinted at in the opening, Robin and I do work for children with children's books and music and stuff. You can't really advertise. Well, you can advertise the product over a medium like radio, but it's kind of hard to advertise the other things that we do. So that's why networking has worked for us.
Absolutely.
Same kind of a thing, yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
And so in your case, they will come to you, and you will. And what? Let's say I'm a doctor. Let's try to role play a little bit here. So let's say I'm a doctor, and my hands are filled. I don't even have good time for what do you call it, bedside manner?
Yes.
So I require somebody else to help explain to the patients what just happened. So now I go to one of these meetings, right? And I'm already kind of working both candles, as they say.
Right.
Do I come to you and say, this is what I could use, and then you kind of direct me to the person who's in the room at that moment?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And that's actually the most exciting part of what I do now is because more than a consultant, I've become a connector. Because I'm getting to know all of these businesses and all of these people, and they tell me what they're looking for, or they tell me what they're struggling with. And then, on the other side, I'm meeting with businesses who may want to be vendors, and they're telling me about the services and products that they provide. So now it's actually been a lot of fun for me to connect the two sides, and then people are just really, really grateful for it because these are connections that they needed. And just in me working with so many different people, it's so simple for me to say, oh yeah, I know who you need to speak to, but then for them maybe it would have taken hours or days of research and speaking to different vendors to find out the right company. So I really enjoy the connection part of it.
And this is going to be an ongoing event for you.
Yes. So the first one that we did was January 18th, which was kind of my kickoff for the year, and it was my proof of concept also. So I saw that there really is a demand for such an event,
And where
especially
was
in this
it held?
area. It was at the Hilton Ocala.
Okay, and the next
So-
one is at the Hilton also? also?
Yes.
And when is the next one?
The next one is March 15th.
Okay.
And they're all from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
So, it doesn't necessarily start at 6 p.m. Some people, after they are done seeing patients, they will come in a little later. But it's going to be bi-monthly. So every other month, we're going to be doing it at the Hilton Ocala. We developed an amazing relationship with them. They were really, really great, very accommodating. So we are going to keep doing it
nice.
there.
Yeah, it's a nice place too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very close, people liked it. And then we are just going to, after the March one, we'll do May, and then we'll do July, and so on. And then also we are going to other cities. So this is Ocala.
Wow, you knew I read my mind there.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, because you're right near the interstate. That's what made me think that. Okay.
Yeah. And everyone wants to network everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
So I do have connections in Tampa. So I've already scheduled our Tampa mixer for July 12th. And that's going to be at the Hilton Tampa downtown. And then I'm working on scheduling the Orlando mixer. And I'm actually going to Orlando
Good
tonight.
For you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Orlando is harder. I think they know that they're bigger. So it's harder to book. But I have a lot of people there that are saying, when are you coming here? So I have to.
Speak to the medical professionals. And I'm going to break that up a little bit just to ask my question. By the way, we're taping this as a video. So if you want to share this with somebody who will benefit from this, please do that. It'll be up as a video podcast probably by 1 or 2 today. It'll be by the time we get it done.
Awesome.
So let me ask you, the one thing I wondered about is the people who are not the decision makers. Like, for example, the nurses or the aides that work at a nursing home, for example. Would they benefit the company by going to this event and maybe bringing the information back to the decision makers?
Absolutely. Especially if they are someone that, has been with the company for a while, the organization for a while, and they can also explain it, and and they can represent it well. I absolutely encourage businesses to send representatives. A lot of the time they'll send their business development or their marketing reps as well. So those are people that know the company, and they can explain it to other people, and they can do the networking for their company on behalf of the company.
Okay.
So, yes.
Is there a cost for the attendees or for the vendors?
It's a completely free event to attend for the attendees. There is a cost to be a vendor. So we do sell the vendor booths. Do you want to know the cost?
Yeah.
We have 2 different types of vendor booths. So we do have the main event room vendors, and those sell for $500. And then we have hallway booths, which sell for $300.
Okay, wow.
So for an expo, it's a very affordable
Get
price.
your name in front of some people for a really affordable price. So tell us some of the people who will be there at the one in March. Can we kind of?
Yeah. So the March one, we literally just started marketing. So far, I only have a few vendors signed up. And what I found is that it takes some time to get closer to the event. And then that's where everyone's like, I want to sign up now, But when they're
that
first
always
learning,
happens.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, we have PNC Bank, which is a huge partner for us. I have CMIT Solutions of Ocala, which is an IT company coming. Of course, Premier Pediatrics will have a booth. We have, who else is there? I'm so sorry, I don't remember now, but I have a list.
That's okay. But I think what you're.
Oh, you have a list.
I have a list of the vendors from the last event.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you guys give me
Some of them might have an opportunity to return, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would also like to thank them if you give me a few minutes later.
Sure, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. But I think what I'm hearing is that anybody who's in the health field would benefit from this.
Oh, yeah.
And I think kind of everybody who's a professional already knows this.
Yeah.
But I think you hit it on the head. It's finding the time to do it.
Right.
And also, I think they're not usually in Ocala. So I think for the local medical providers and health professionals, I think that's an issue too. Like if it's even if it's in Gainesville, which isn't that far away, it's still a drive.
It's a drive.
Yeah. So it's good that it's happening here.
Yeah, I think so.
And communication is very important. So maybe a phone vendor would like to sign up for that as well.
Yeah, and it's just been really cool because the different types of vendors that are signing on are not vendors that even I knew about, so these are organizations. I would like to, mention just one. CEOcast is actually a company that just blew my mind because I did not know that something like this was available, but they put digital screens inside of businesses and then they advertise other local businesses on those screens.
Wait a minute. I think I've seen this at, what's that restaurant we went to?
Brady's.
Yeah.
Probably. And they're inside
Yeah, that's
grocery
pretty
stores.
cool.
And now, we're going to be helping them get into medical practices. So that's going to be a huge new arena. But, it's cool because the hosts that have these screens, not only is it a free screen for them that, their patients in the waiting room can now get some information and they can advertise whatever maybe policies or procedures or announcements they have for their own practices. But then it's also giving a few ads to the other companies that are actually advertising. And then, of course, that same host company now is going to be advertised in 5 different high traffic locations. So it's completely
Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay, so let's build on
This is
that.
a win-win. This is great.
What you know what I see right there? I see any of the video production companies in town benefiting from the event.
Right.
Because again, if somebody buys into that, the company you just talked about, what's the first thing you're going to need is a nicely made video.
And they make them themselves.
So there you go. I mean, it's really a good thing. One of the things that we run into a lot in radio is that everybody who's above board and wants to do what's best for their client. A lot of times you have to say, I love what you're doing, but I don't know you're going to be wasting your money with this. And as you experience, sometimes advertising has to have a creative, innovative approach.
Right.
It can't always be cookie cutter.
And not all the same advertising will work for every type of business.
Right. And we've known that too. And that's why sometimes we have to turn people away.
Yeah.
Don't tell the boss. But we have to sometimes because it's not going to serve the client.
Right.
And then nobody wins, so.
Exactly. And that's one of my roles as a consultant is to kind of steer the businesses and say, well, hey, I've tried this before. This may not work for you as a, consumer business or maybe as a business to business business. Here is what will work best, so that's kind of what I enjoy doing because I've tried it all before, So
do you have like speakers, for example, this is off the top, I could be totally off base, but let's say, right now, everybody seems to think that social media is a must. If you're not twitting or Instagramming, then you're never going to keep up and blah, blah, blah. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But it would be nice to know from somebody who studied it. So could you have a speaker maybe give a 10-minute presentation?
We can.
At the event? We
can. And, I've tried to steer away from speakers because there are so many different presentations going on. And this event I want to keep really, really social. So I really just want people networking.
Just to hang out, yeah.
One thing that I am doing is we have a raffle. So at 7:30 p.m., everyone gets, inside the event room and we get all of our vendors to line up and every vendor has a raffle prize that they bring with them.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And then they get a few minutes to, take the mic and introduce themselves and their company and what they do. So that's kind of their opportunity to really present to all of the people. So maybe even if they hadn't had a chance to stop by their booth, they still get to know who they are. And it's just fun, So every person that registers for the event, again, it's free admission, but if they register, they do get a free raffle ticket. So we had some great raffle prizes. We did have, and it was very varied raffle prizes. I don't remember exactly who brought what, but, we had an iPad that was raffled off. We had an all expenses paid golf tournament tickets. Then we had, a whole box of books from the Early Learning Coalition. We had just a bunch of fun stuff. A bottle of Jack Daniels with little sets to it.
Oh, wow.
So everything was so different and varied and just really
yeah.
fun. So that's what we're going to keep encouraging people. And that's kind of their chance to speak up a little bit. But as far as presentations, we do other events.
Oh, okay,
so,
okay.
For this event, I want to keep it very social.
Gotcha.
But we do also plan other events. For example, I'm actually going to meet with a venue after this, and we're going to be doing a pediatric mental health fair.
Oh, how fabulous. I love that.
And, my background, as I mentioned, my father is a pediatrician, so I've helped him manage his practice from a very early age. And, there we do a lot of mental health. We do a lot of behavioral medicine. ADHD is a huge thing for us. Not all, but a lot of our kids do have it. Bipolar depression. And what we found is that most of the time it's not even treating the children as much as it is educating the parents on how to deal with their kids or how to do, behavior modification and really the parenting side of it, So the mental health fair that we're putting together is going to kind of bring together different pediatricians dealing with therapists, psychiatrists,
Oh, that's wonderful.
Are all of the things on? Do you have a website so that somebody
Yes.
could go to and
Yes.
kind of keep up
My
with what you're doing?
Website is LMS for Leading Management Solutions, health as in healthcare, and pro.com.
Okay. I have it on my sheet here. lmshealthpro.com.
Yes.
And is, like Robin mentioned, you both mentioned, it's every other month. Is it always every other month at the Hilton?
Yes.
Always at the same place. Okay.
Starting March 15th.
Yes. First one was January 18th. This is going to be our second one. I'm expecting an even greater turnout. For the first event, we had probably, I would say, maybe 110 people show up, 100 to 110 people. So it was a pretty good event for the first time. And then we had 18 vendors show up. So I'm just expecting it to kind of keep growing and snowballing. So, and we have, with the Hilton, we have a very good relationship to where we can always expand and do a larger room and have more vendors. So it's really kind
Yeah,
of,
the
there's
Hilton is awesome.
no
Yeah.
cap to it.
Yeah.
And the vendors that were last time.
Yes, if you don't mind, I have a list and I would like to mention all of them and thank them just because, it was so great for them all to take the time out of their lives to show up and do this. And also the vendors is how we sponsor the event, most of it at least. So I just wanted to say, if any of the vendors are listening, thank you so much. And who we had there, of course, Premier Pediatrics, we had PNC Bank, CMIT Solutions of Ocala, Therapy Management, UF Health showed up, SunTrust Mortgage Bank, All Trust Insurance, Venus Solutions, Medigreen Waste, ACS Lab, Center State Bank, Express Employment Professionals, the Medical License Factory, Diddy's Caribbean Restaurant, which I then found out I'm not allowed to have restaurants, Edward Jones, the Early Learning Coalition, and COCAST. So those were the vendors that we had. And, again, we're taking all kinds of different types of vendors. So some of them will come and say, well, do I qualify to be a vendor? And I say, yes, everyone qualifies. It's really just
But you
about
can't have
connecting.
restaurants.
Except for restaurants.
Oh, okay.
And that's
okay.
because the Hilton has their own food, which it makes sense.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, but I could, oh my gosh, but I could see that if they're not selling food, they could represent their. I guess I see why. Well, that's too bad. Because, if you have an event or something and you want it catered, I guess so the Hilton is.
Hilton is it.
Yeah,
Beauty.
yeah.
And I like my arrangement with them, so I'm not going to
No,
touch it.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So tell me some wish list guests or wish list vendors. Are there any? Because I can imagine there are some people who'd be a perfect match that just don't know about this. Maybe we can reach out to them if you can.
Oh, goodness. I haven't thought about it. I reach out. A lot of my outreach is done on LinkedIn, which I found is a huge thing.
Okay.
So whether by posting on my own LinkedIn page or even just doing direct outreach, or
Is that right?
my marketers doing direct messaging to people. So I, teach them, okay, we want to, market to business owners.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be in healthcare. It's business owners in this local area, or even if it's, marketing representatives or business development representatives, because those are the people that are looking for these types of opportunities. Those are the people that do shows and, events and stuff like that.
Do you know? I've known a few people who had the job of office manager. I knew a guy in New York who managed a law firm, not the law firm, but he was the office manager of the law firm.
Right.
And he had nothing to do with the law. It had everything to do with paper and pens and desks and chairs and light bulbs and everything else. So all the vendors he had to work with.
Right.
And so I'm thinking the same thing is true for all these offices, that if you are out there, maybe you sell furniture. Are these perfect? These are perfect, I would think. Office furniture people, or I can't think of other examples.
I should probably contact
electronics
Office
people
Depot or Staples.
Exactly. Staples is perfect. Yeah.
Right. So these are all companies that audience can benefit from, and then of course also maybe other healthcare facilities or specialists that may need referrals from, let's say, primary care, like if we have a neurologist in town, maybe they need referrals from primary care.
Well, I can give you an example. We have Palm Garden of Ocala, it's a health and rehabilitative.
Yeah.
And they would be benefiting from interacting with the local hospitals. I'm assuming they already do, simply because they have rehabilitative services.
Right.
So, after your hospital stay, instead of going home or spending more time than you really would like to in the hospital, you go to a different, more like a a halfway place, you know?
Right. And for them, if they were a vendor, we do have people from the hospital, that come
and then
that
they
network.
would get to know each other.
Exactly.
And, yeah, because if you're going to recommend a place, we have a lot of assisted living facilities in this area.
Yeah.
So
yeah, actually, the Pediatric Mental Health Expo is going to be at an assisted living facility. It's a new one called Paddock Ridge. So that's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be, good exposure for them, and then it's also great for us. So
I have a question that might be a wrong question, but are there things that it is not? For example, would you discourage from somebody showing up as a way to get a job?
Not at all.
No, you would encourage that?
Not at all.
Okay.
Because I actually encourage people because, yes, it's professional networking for mostly businesses, but there are also people in healthcare that may not be looking to own their business, but want to, grow in their careers.
Sure.
So it's huge for them as well. We have nurses that show up and who are looking for jobs, and that's huge to me as well, because if I can help with that, then, it may be better. And for me, even from the employer's standpoint, it's better for them to meet the person, first and see what they're actually like than to see a resume, because a resume can only tell you so much, and a resume can have lies on it,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Here, you can actually interact with the person. You can get to know them.
That's really a good idea you have.
Yeah.
The wedding thing that we went to behind the Hilton, there was a big tent, and the vendors in there, I was amazed because it wasn't all about dresses and cakes and photographers. There was a popcorn guy there.
Yeah.
There was a puppeteer.
Yeah.
Because he was offering his services to entertain the children during the wedding or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, you would never like a puppeteer showing up at or an entertainer of any sort,
Right.
like a musician, a guitar player or something. They would show up too?
I don't know about that. I haven't had any, express interest yet. But again, that was just the first event. I feel like if we get more out in the community, then maybe I will have some inquiries. But how I really got into the whole event thing is that with Premier Pediatrics, we started doing a annual community fair. So we just had our 6th annual fair last year. We're going to start planning our next one for this year soon. And that one, the people that are showing up are moms, parents with children.
Oh, sure.
So
of
for
course.
those, we actually had different types of vendors. And we did have, face painters and balloon artists. So I think it really just, I think it depends on the population and the target audience.
Very
that we're
useful.
inviting. So
I love this information. Okay, so let's, Sonda, thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
The website you gave us is lmshealthpro.com. LMS stands for, again?
Leading Management Solutions.
And the event is on
March 15th at the Hilton Ocala from 6 to 9 p.m. Free admission, and every person that registers gets a free raffle ticket and a free drink ticket. So we do get people tipsy so that they get a little more social.
Do you have a phone number you want to announce?
Yeah, sure. People can call me at 917-620-1410.
All right. Thank you so much. That was good information.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me.
We'll be right back.